Hello everybody, it's Brian here in Toronto as usual. You may have already detected that I'm dealing with some sort of cold or respiratory virus. The kids go back to school every fall as normal, and inevitably one of them or both of them will come home with some sort of cold, and that's what happened this year again. So the youngest one came home. I'm blaming her, and she's been passing this virus around, so now it's my turn. I think the worst is behind me, but I've been feeling kind of lethargic and tired the last 3 or 4 days. But having said all that, it's time to get into today's video, which is a contest entry for Olivier, whose channel is the Vinyl Lounge Montreal. If you like records, and I'm pretty sure you do, if you like thrifting, if you like food and cooking, and at this time of year, if you like the NFL, this is the channel for you. A lot of videos feature his wife, and he shows us what they're doing. He really kind of brings us all into their lives. It's really, really great, fun channel. They travel around Montreal looking at thrift stores and antique stores, and he talks about music. Really cool. So I'm going to suggest you check out that channel. Of course, I put a link below. Now, his contest is centered around beards. I don't have one. I had one in the past, but I'm not willing to share a photograph of that. He has a fantastic beard, by the way. So he ran for a short period of time, or some period of time, a company that sold beard care products and shaving products. And so it didn't last. It was something he tried out with a friend, I think he said, and now he's giving away a gift package valued at around $250, which is very, very generous. So I'm going to take part in this contest. Now, the idea is you show 10 records featuring a bearded musician on the front and then do a channel shout out. So let's get going. And I'm going to start with the most appropriate record I could find in my collection, because not only does it feature a man, a musician with a beard, it also features an image of someone shaving. You're wondering, how could that possibly be? Some of you have already guessed it. Richard Thompson's Amnesia from, what's this, 80-something? I should have looked up the date. 83, I think. No. 88. I don't know who this guy is shaving. I tried to find out on the internet, but I found one person saying, who is the guy? No one seems to know, but it's not Richard. Richard, though, is pictured here in his beard in a jester outfit with a jester hat, and he appears to be juggling. It's weird because then behind him there are fighter jets and helicopters. I don't really understand that. I don't know how these two images work together. You've got a reflection in a mirror and then another mirror, maybe, or a window, I'm not sure. And the jester thing, I don't know. On the back, there's Richard either, getting ready for the sauna or the shower, or having already been. I don't know what's going on there. And then, if that isn't weird enough, you have Richard in the act of playing a chainsaw. That's a really weird image. So, I don't understand the album cover, but it does feature a shaving guy and a bearded guy. Maybe the only record of its kind. Number 2, one of the first ones I thought of is Elvis Costello. Well, actually, this is credited to the Costello Show, and in brackets it says featuring Elvis Costello on the spine. And this is King of America. And I've always loved this album cover. It looks very regal, monochrome image of bearded Elvis Costello in a crown, and then you see the full thing on the back here with King of America. Yeah, this is 86, yeah, that's a really cool image. Number 3, from what I think is Canada's best guitar player. That is Bruce Cockburn. Still touring. He's in his 80s now, still touring. This is In the Falling Dark. And this is his mid-70s, 1976, full-on folky period. This is his, mystical kind of folky. I don't know if mystical is the right word, but if you know his music, you'll recognize songs like Lord of the Starfields, Vagabondage, In the Falling Dark, Little Seahorse, Silver Wheels. Really great record. And Bruce has worn a beard for much of his life. I think he has one now on his current tour. Except it's a lot grayer, obviously. I've chosen Bob Mould, Beauty and Ruin. It came out in 2014. The subtitle here is cool. It's called A Life of Emotion in 36 minutes. So if you look at the cover here, you get to see the younger, clean-shaven, cigarette-smoking, Husker Du era Bob Mould, and then beside him, the older, wiser, grayer, bespectacled, toque-wearing Bob Mould. Interesting contrast between the two eras of his life. On the back here, you have another image of Bob. You can't really probably see the beard, but he's taking a photograph. And this is your classic high energy Bob Mould record. I really like this record. I think he's pretty good. And then, in that same vein of young to old, we have this triple album, Best of Billy Bragg at the BBC 1983 to 2019. 38 classic tracks compiled from the BBC archive spanning 1983 to 2019. And so you have young Billy, a little bit older Billy, and then the bearded, grayer Billy from years later. What else does this hype sticker say? Selected highlights from sessions for John Peel, David Jensen, Janice Long, Phil Jupitus, Bob Harris, Tom Robinson, and more. I will show you the inside because it repeats these images on these inner sleeves. So it's a really interesting collection because it covers what Billy described as a work in progress on the back here. So tracks before they were fully complete, and so he'd go through in the studio and play them out and then work through them. So that's a really good collection. And then one record that isn't a photograph but rather a piece of artwork. This is Matt Berninger's debut solo record called Serpentine Prison. He enlisted Michael Carson to do this painting. During the pandemic, he had sent him photographs, and Michael Carson painted this and this. And if you actually look close, you'll see he does have a beard. And he's had a beard for quite a while now, I think. When I saw him in concert, he certainly had one. This is produced by Booker T. Jones, 2020. And on the gatefold here, you'll see, there are lots of photographs, and you'll see, for example, Matt and the beard here. This is a really good record. It sounds, and again, I think the voice would make you think of The National, but it does sound a bit different. Ooh, anyway, that's a good one. Harry Nilsson's Greatest Hits. There he is looking into a mirror. Second album with a mirror on it. On the back, it says the mirror covering his face. So I think you will know some of the songs in here. If you don't know, I mean, you must know Everybody's Talking. That's probably his most well-known track. But there's a track listing if you want to pause to look at that. Good record. And then from 1982 Marvin Gaye, we have Midnight Love. And there he is looking cool on the front. And I guess the track that's probably most well-known here, well, I'm sure it is, it's the most well-known, is Sexual Healing is on here. Anyway, yeah. I think he's wearing a beard on What's Going On, too, but I chose this one instead. This guy's records, I think, he's always been bearded on him. That's a guy I mentioned many times, but Father John Misty. This is God's Favorite Customer with a lot of glare here, but I think every record I have of him features him in a beard. God's Favorite Customer, 2018. And you can see him here as well, if you can, has a beard there. So, consistently good. He has a new record coming out, I think, maybe this year. I saw an ad for it. Produced by Jonathan Wilson, believe it or not. And this is a record which is really strange because, for some reason, I never fully realized he was wearing a beard until I looked at it really closely this week, in fact. And that is Neil Young's Tonight's the Night. I don't know why, but I've looked at this album cover many, many times, and it never clicked that he had a beard here, but he certainly does. And on the back, you can see Neil with the beard and another dude looking demonic down there with the beard. So something that's really strange because I never even noticed it. I don't know why, but there you go. Tonight's the Night from Neil Young rounds out the 10. Now we move on to the shout out, and I'm going to shout out a guy that I met in July in the Boston area at MGK Boston's Summer Lawn Party Extravaganza. I've had a lot of people there, but I'm going to mention this channel because I'd spoken to him, texted, sent messages back and forth, but I never actually spoken to him until this summer, and that is Steve from the Ralstonian Music Report, formerly called the Ralstonian Music Lounge. I think he's gone through a couple of names. And the good thing about him, or the really interesting thing I find about him, is he has a really broad taste in terms of musical genres. So you will see references to things like, for example, Van Halen. But I think if you were to pin him down, he would say something like he's interested in the blues, perhaps is his favorite musical genre. And not simply old blues, but new blues. So I've found out from his channel about, more recent blues artists that I didn't know about. So, I had a coughing break there. So if you like the blues or you want to see what's going on with Steve's channel, I will put a link. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.